Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, everybody listening to the Independent Corner. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and with me is my co-host for tonight as well, Brandon Slagle.
Hi there, everybody. How you doing?
And our special guest tonight is Tony Moran. How you doing, Tony?
Very good, guys. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Brandon, you said you were doing great.
I'm just doing better today than I have been doing, so, yeah.
Peachy Kino.
Was that?
Peachy Kino. Peachy Kino. We're all doing Peachy Kino.
All right. Tony, I guess we'll start it off. How did you get into acting?
The very, very beginnings of that started when I was 9 and my little sister Erin was 5. And we had a Christmas party at our house. And an agent happened to show up, that we didn't even know, just by chance. And she saw me and my little sister and thought we'd be great for, TV or whatever.
So an agent just showed up at your house?
What's that?
Was it at your house or the Christmas party?
Yeah, the Christmas party was at our house, my house, growing up. And she just happened to tag along with some friend of a friend or something like that. So she saw us and thought we'd be good. So her and I did a commercial when we were 9 and 5 years old, and for a director called Lee Lacey, and it aired once, and it aired on the first time that the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas came on. And but it was a big budget commercial because that was this guy Lee Lacey. That was what he was known for. They flew us around to like 3 or 4 different states in the wintertime trying to find the exact right hill with the exact right snow and blah, blah, blah. And it was just such a drag and cold and miserable. And I was an athlete, and I've always been independent. And when we got back, I said, there's no way I'm doing this crap. There's no way. So I got out of it until I was about 19 years old, I guess I was. And the agent that I had back then, Erin still had, and she kept asking me year after year to get back into it and so on and so forth and so fun. I said, yeah, I'll do it. It sounds like fun. I'll do it for fun. And went into acting classes, did that for a while, and that's how it started. The second career.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you didn't go to any kind of you took classes, but did you go to school for it at all, or? No.
Mm-mm. And even in the classes that I took, I learned a lot, but I also learned that I already knew it instinctually. So, but it was still good. Still good to work with other actors and play around and do all that stuff, and it did help a lot.
Yeah. But it gives you the chance to own everything because, so many people, I think, do have a natural talent for it, but they don't really know what to do with it. So, classes help some people more than others, but it's still good to, have that experience of working with people and kind of being guided. And
yeah, exactly. Working it out and playing with stuff and, just kind of exploring.
Yeah.
Exploring stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I got the most out of was just the freedom to explore and to trust myself doing that.
Yeah. Did you have any particular teachers in school that had affected you?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
That's fair enough.
No, I mean in school. You mean like the acting school or high school or something like that?
Either one.
Yeah, in high school, I didn't have anything to do with acting. I was a surfer and a athlete. I was being scouted by the Angels out of high school to play second base, and I was heavily into surfing. Was until I was about 41, 42 years old. I just wanted to do my own thing, And I saw the life of my little sister, and I was like, there's no way I want any part of that, So, but this teacher that the acting school that I went to, her name was Maria Gabetti, and she was the one that taught the class. So she was my only teacher as far as acting goes, and instructor, whatever you want to call it, partner, blah blah blah. And she was the one that that I took the classes from. She's the one that had the effect on me.
Yeah.
Now, after this, was I guess Halloween your first big gig, or did you do anything else?
Yeah, it was my first big gig, but I didn't really look at it that way. I was living in Southern California in a place called the San Fernando Valley in a little town called North Hollywood, and living on a couch and trying to get some acting gigs. Yeah, you know how it goes. And doing the waitering and the bartending and going out on interviews and so on and so forth. And there was a period of time, not a long period, but a little while, where my agent called me up and she said, I really apologize that it's been really slow and I haven't been able to send you out on anything. It just hasn't been anything for you. She says, I do have this one thing. It's a real low-budget film. It's about $300,000 budget, horror flick, B movie. And Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. And I'm like, well, who the fuck is that? Because I didn't know who she was at the time. So she explained it, and I go, well, so what? Because in '78, horror movies was, the scourge. It was like, ew, there was no horror movies out, during that time, So she said, well, if you don't, want, if that doesn't do anything for you, Donald Pleasance is in it, and I was a huge fan of his. He's brilliant, and I said, okay, and I thought about it, and I said, well, it's a horror movie, She says, yeah, and I go, oh, okay. She goes, and all I know is she didn't even know how to wear a mask. She goes, all I know is you play some psycho guy. And I said, well, and I needed the money, so I said, fine, I'll go on the interview. So, she gave me the time for the interview like 3 days beforehand, and I'd got into the whole method thing of not sleeping and showering and all that stuff for 3 days, on purpose. Didn't shave, didn't shower, just gnarly, just a really, really, really bad attitude by the time the interview came around. And it was in the ghetto part of Hollywood, in an upstairs office above some other, I don't even know, retail or I don't know, something. And it was, the typical, wooden stairways with the peeling paint off of it and stuff. And so I went there, I think it was an 8:30 interview time, and I went there and I knocked on the door and they asked me to come on in. And I went in, and over to the right was a desk with Erwin Blondes behind it, within a suit, clean cut, and he introduced himself to me, and then he pointed over to the couch on the other side of the room and said, this is my director, John Carpenter, and he stands up, and he's got a ponytail down his back, and I'm like, holy Christ, are you shitting me?
Hey, do you think there's like a hippie or something?
Yeah, I mean, I came from, Happy Days. My little sister being on Happy Days, it was sort of like everybody's clean cut, and all the corporate people and directors were all clean cut, and, all that stuff, There was no such, I knew nothing about independent stuff. I didn't grow up in that, So I said, hi, how you doing? Shook his hand, and we talked for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then the interview was done, and then later that afternoon, my agent called up and said, hey, you got the job. And I'm like, whoop-de-doo, because I was embarrassed, because I didn't know who he was. I didn't know about, Assault on Precinct 13, or I wouldn't even care if I did, Yeah. It was a horror movie, you know what I mean, for crying out loud.
Wait, so you actually heard about it that same day. That's a pretty quick turnaround. Indie film.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, that film was the movie was filmed in 21 days.
Yeah.
So they were already filming.
So you were actually, or it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, in the independent world, it's sort of like I'll give you an example. I'm doing a movie now called Beg, out in Boston, and I go out not next week, but the weekend after. And I had asked Michael Berryman to be in the film, and he's going to be in the film, and he's playing a pretty pivotal part in the movie, good part. But see, when I first started Beg, it was, a 20-minute or a 30-minute short back in October of 2007.
Yeah, I had been hearing about it for a while. So
Right.
Right. So sure, the guy wanted to make a feature film out of it, yeah, but he didn't even have a whole script written for it. He just had this little short because he figured that's all he could, be able to pull off.
Yeah.
So he hired, he contacted me through MySpace and a lot, a lot of people do, they want to send me their scripts or whatever, but it was the way he came across that I responded to him. He just had a quality about him that I just immediately took to. So he sent me the script, and then I called him, and he couldn't believe he was even talking to me because he'd never done anything before,
Hey, I couldn't believe you called me that day. I was like, whoa, it's great coming from work, and then all of a sudden I get a message from you, and I'm like, holy crap.
Well, I appreciate that. I say these things totally objectively. I don't have I'm totally, I don't have an ego about this stuff. I mean, it's like, it just depends on how people come across to me, is basically how it goes, for me. So, but I appreciate that. But no, I mean, shoot, I'm no different than anybody else. I just got, I got this thing going on, called Halloween. So anyways, there was a part in it, that I had to play my wife, and I go to Kevin, the director of Beg, and I said, do you have this cast? And he goes, no. And I go, well, who would be perfect for this is PJ Souls, and he starts laughing,
Huh.
And I go, no, bro, she's my friend. She's a really, really good friend of mine. This is a terrific script. I bet you she'll do it. He goes, are you out of your mind? I go, no, dude, they're all my friends. I'm fucking calling her right up. So I call her up, send her the script. She calls me back. She goes, oh shit, yeah, I want to do this. Because the writing is so good. So that turned into, me, chit-chatting with Tony Todd at Scarefest in Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky last August, at a bar having steaks and a couple of drinks. And I said, I think it would be good if you get into this movie, but I'm going to tell you, we have no money, So, but, him and I are really, really good friends, and, it took about a week and a half, but, through his agents and managers and all that stuff. But he told me he would pull it off, and he did, even though his agent and managers were appalled, because there's not a whole lot of money to give him, So, and then that turned into Michael Berryman, and it's turned into a whole feature length. So my point is that, yeah, they cast me, probably while they were already filming, but just like Beg, it's the same thing. I mean, it started from a short, and then I told Kevin, I says, I can pull a lot of crap off, dude, if you need me to, if you want to turn this into a feature, because we talked about it. And he goes, well, yeah, hell yeah, I would. And I go, well, let me do my thing. And so every time I go out there, like I'm going out in a week and a half or whatever it is, 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks, I get my scene for this next upcoming shoot, or a couple scenes. I still don't have the full script, bro. I've never seen a full script yet. You know what I mean? And Brandon, as an actor, you must know, because you're an actor too, right? In Methodic, or whatever it's called. Methodic?
Yeah.
Methodic, right? If you got a a character, and you kind of know who the character is, but then you start off doing a short on the movie, and then they go, nope, we're making a feature, and let's say you're the main character, and then you have to piece together and keep a cohesiveness about your character without even knowing what the fuck turns you're going to be taking in the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense to you?
No.
Absolutely. There's a film I'm doing called Shotgun Kiss that we started last year in North Carolina, and we ended up not finishing it, and the additional scenes got delayed. In the midst of that delay, they ended up rewriting the complete script, and I haven't even seen it yet. So they've told me something about the character, but I just know that it's different. So I look forward to seeing it, but right now I'm kind of like, I wonder where it's going.
Well, is it a complete reshoot, or are they going to piece together what you've already shot into this new stuff?
Well, there was some behind-the-scenes stuff that happened. A couple people dropped out about it, so I think they had to drop a couple of scenes because of, I guess, creative control or whatever. So as far as I know, they're keeping a lot of we had some pretty big action set pieces, like we blew up some police cars and hacked me to pieces, and some other things that we're keeping. But it's like we're they built a new story kind of around some of the set pieces we shot. And I think they're taking some used to be kind of like Natural Born Killers and making it more like Smokin' Aces or something like that. It went from a horror film to an action film.
I see. Well, so my thing is that, like this, when I go shoot in 10 days or whatever, it's a flashback of 10 or 15 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, so I love it because it's really challenging, but you got to understand, I mean, every time I don't even know what the next scenes are going to be until I get them, and I'm like, okay, well, how do I keep my cohesiveness of my character and changes and all sorts of stuff, But it's going very well, so
That's good.
Yeah, so it's normal, an independent film that you would be casting somebody midway through, Yeah. Because you get different ideas, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's pretty much what they had done with. Did they have an original Michael Myers, like somebody else that just didn't work out, or did they just not have Michael Myers and then they finally had you and they're already filming?
I don't know, and that's a good question. I mean, they could have had it where maybe they never showed the face of Michael Myers in the beginning, and maybe midway through they thought, ooh, what would be cooler is to have his face for a couple seconds. That'd be chilling if we find the right person and all that stuff. And who knows? I don't know. But
was it like a one-day shoot, or were you there for?
Yeah. No, it was a one-day shoot. One-day shoot. Mm-hmm.
Now I was looking on IMDb. It says for Halloween 1, you playing Michael Myers, age 23. And then in Halloween 2, age 21.
It says 21. I know. It's fucking weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. But I haven't seen Halloween 2 in like so long, actually. So I guess you were in that, right? Like.
Well, I was, but I never set foot on the stage. They had called me up and asked me if I wanted to be in it and all that. And I said no, And they said, because I never followed what happened to Halloween 1 back then. I never even followed it. I never even went to the premiere, So what they did was they said, okay, well, can we use your footage from 1 and 2 and put your name in there? And I'm like, cool, fine, excellent. Sounds good to me,
So you're pretty much archives,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, so it goes. I saw you were like on the Waltons and a few other TV gigs. Is that what you tried to do after Halloween? Did you try to get to that?
Well, I didn't try. That was just what I was being, sent on.
Okay.
My agent had more connections towards TV than films.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did go out on some, but not a whole lot. She wasn't a really big agent.
What was it like to work on Chips?
Oh God.
I was a big fan of Chips when I was
really?
a kid. I even had the little. They had these figures that were kind of like the small GI Joes, and I remember having both of them and the motorcycles, of course. And I would watch it all the time when I was like 6 and had no idea what was actually going on, but I loved it.
That's so funny. Well, I loved it and I hated it, and I couldn't believe that they cast me as a cop. That I couldn't believe that. Larry Wilcox was a beautiful guy, just the nicest guy in the world. Eric Estrada, the whole different story. I was on that set for 7 days because I had a pretty big part in it and all that, but he didn't say hello or look at me once.
Oh.
And I was like, I thought, you dick. What a dick, And they actually, when Larry Wilcox split from the scene, my agent called me up and said, they're interested in you taking over Larry Wilcox's part. And I said, no, there's no way. I'm not working with that guy. There's no way. No way. On the set, he was such a jerk. I mean, because that's why he got blackballed. That's why all of a sudden you didn't see him anymore, because he was such a jerk to Hollywood. Yeah.
Right.
Did you actually have scenes with him, or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if I can remember. Yeah, yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah, I did.
What a way to build chemistry before your scenes.
I know. Well, it takes a tough will, dude. You got to stay focused.
I mean, there are those actors out there that just think too much of themselves and try to pretty much get people to make them seem like they're bigger than everybody else.
Yeah, and doing big and getting Tony Todd and getting Michael Berryman, although I haven't filmed with Michael Berryman yet, but the people in Boston, they're just people that just are trying to do their first gig. I mean, Kevin McDonald, the director and writer, and producer, and his wife Shanna, they have a little short that they threw me into after it was filmed a year before that called Spilt Milk, but that's all they do. It's a little short film. But this is, the big time. So when they hear that Tony Todd's coming out, or PJ Souls and Michael Berryman and all that, they don't know what, all they are is freaked out that they can't believe they're going to meet these people, But on my perspective, although I know them very well, and on the other hand, I've never worked with them, though, are they going to be assholes even though they're my really close friends or not? And my feeling was, no, they're really close to me. I know my people really well, so I know they're not going to be like that. So, and turns out, PJ came on, complete gem. Tony Todd came on, and he was totally professional and totally great, and Michael Berryman will do the same thing, I'm sure. If not, they're going to have me to deal with. So, and they don't want to deal with me, because I will take them aside and say something,
Exactly. Now, are you pretty much? I guess, are they going to credit you as like one of the producers or like associate?
Oh yeah. I'm part owner of the movie. Yeah.
Part owner of the movie. That's great.
Yeah.
You were saying earlier that you were like, you're good friends with these people. I mean, how did you know PJ? Is that through like convention circuits or just through?
Yes, all through convention circuit. Yeah, starting a little over 3 years ago is when I started the convention circuit.
That's really cool, though. I mean, that's great though. That like people pretty much just want you to come out there and sign autographs. And just get you out there, and help you out.
Yes. Yeah, that's a strange thing, though. I was underground for so long on purpose, so nobody could find me, unlisted and all that on purpose, because I just didn't want to have anything to do with it. And I got contacted by this guy that met a buddy of mine at a party, and my buddy knew not to give my phone number out, but this guy was working for a place called the Horror Channel, and he did interviews. And he said to my buddy that, he had been looking for me for like 8 or 9 years to do an interview with me about Halloween. And I'm like, you're kidding me. I'm like, and he goes, his name is Garrett. And he goes, no. And I'm like, okay, well, give me his number. Let me call him, feel this guy out, and see what the hell's going on, because I don't understand this in the least, because I didn't follow any of this stuff, I knew they kept making Halloweens, but I didn't know, So he does this interview with me, and we finish up, and he's amazing. Halloween is his movie, and Michael Myers is his deal. That's his favorite, right? So after we're through, he goes, have you ever thought about doing horror conventions? And I'm like, what the fuck is a horror convention? What is that? And he looked at me like, like I was from outer space. And he goes, well, these are these conventions across the country that are specifically geared towards fans of horror. And you sign your autograph for $20 a piece or whatever, and the fans come out, and I go, you're kidding me? Is that you're not fucking with me, right? And he goes, no, this is true. This is true. And I'm like, wow, So, make a long story short, he's I gave it a shot, and I went out to my second one. The first one I don't even count because it was such a tiny one, but the second one I went out to was Chiller out in New Jersey, where, what is there, like 10,000 people to 15,000 people to show up over a weekend,
Oh yeah.
And you see Pee Wee Herman there, and Val Kilmer and Burt Reynolds and all that shit, right? And I get there, I didn't even take it seriously. I missed my flight. I was an hour and a half late on Friday, and I put all I had like only 4 pictures at the time, and I put the pictures down, and I had a line, of people. And I'm like, and I'm still, I just couldn't. I was blown away. Just blown away, and I still am. It's I'll never get used to it in a good way, Right. So, and the fans of horror, I I challenge anybody to tell me who's got better fans, in a genre than horror, for sure.
Everybody is so supportive, and I don't know. It's hard to describe because it's not like a cultish behavior or anything, because they're so open and they're enthusiastic and they actually like talking to everybody.
Exactly.
And it's
exactly.
You can't that doesn't just happen with a lot of things.
It's like a family.
Yeah.
Actually,
exactly right.
When I was on the set of a movie called Zombology up in Richmond, Virginia, I was up there because I got invited by Tiffany Shepis, who you got to work with on Beg. But she was talking...
And spilt milk, by the way.
Oh, and spilt milk. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But she was talking to Jim Jackman, who was a major asshole in Spaceballs. And she was talking to him, and he was talking about horror, and he had never been in a horror thing before. And she was like, "Oh, well, now that you're in a horror movie, you have to go to conventions." And she actually mentioned Chiller as being the first one he had to go to. So
God,
I think that's really funny that you would, that would be, that seems to be the one everybody's kind of talking about.
Yeah, what an introduction to horror conventions, that's for sure. I mean, that's just 24 hours of, on a Halloween weekend of just pure madness, dude.
That's awesome, though.
Madness. I mean, you get people taking chairs into the elevators and drinking. I mean, it's just nonstop partying and debauchery. It's just unreal. Half-naked women all weekend long and just, ooh, wow, just unreal. Yeah.
That's going to be next weekend, too. I'm going to make sure of it. That's
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you guys are both going to Fangoria, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And you're going to come by, right? We're going to meet up, right, Brandon?
Oh yes, I'm going to be there.
Cool.
I'm going to be there from Thursday night until Sunday, and
cool.
I convinced Miss Jewel Shepard to come down, and she's not too big on these unless it's a Return of the Living Dead thing, but I got her to come out. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's going to be a lot of people. I mean, I've heard a lot of people are going to be at that convention too. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to afford to fly out there for just a weekend.
Yeah.
But Brandon tells me he's going to show me lots of pictures or whatever. Let me know what's up. Make me wish I was there, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's fun times.
But anyway, so I guess also another thing is that I definitely want to know about how did you guys get Christina Klebe?
Okay, I'm gonna again. This is like totally, non-egotistically. She heard I was doing a movie and she wanted to be in it.
For real?
I shit you not. I remember when
awesome.
Kevin, my director, Kevin McDonald, calls me up and he goes, "You're not going to believe this." So I'm like, "What?" Because I know Christina. She's really cool. She's a good chick. And he calls me up and he goes, "I got an email from Christina Klebe. She wants to know if we got a part for her in the movie." And I go, "Cool. You're going to love her. She's great." Because I talked to her, at a couple conventions about the movie and stuff before, and I didn't even think about, hiring her on because I never know what the script's about. You know what I mean? So I don't know if there's a part for her. I have no idea. I don't even know. So, but yeah, she had dropped my name and said, she was interested if there was a part, and of course, Kevin jumped at it and goes, "Hell yeah!" And wrote her in. She got a good part too.
That is awesome.
So they wrote her part originally, or was it one that was already kind of in the film that they made to fit?
No. Brandon, I wish it was like that, but no, you got to understand, the movie, Kevin's always had the movie in his head probably for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But he wrote a scene for her.
Oh, cool.
He's brilliant about, I cannot imagine how he does this. And keeps the whole movie cohesive,
Yeah.
It's amazing to me, Amazing.
No, I was looking at the trailer, and it looks like it goes like there's a lot of stuff going on that they, it looks like in that trailer, it looks like there's even its own little short film, with
yeah.
this,
Yeah.
so many stuff that they could do with it. So I'm really, I was anxious when I saw it to see what's going on, especially with Tony and you and PJ and everybody,
Tiffany, Deborah Rashawn, Christina Klebe, Michael Berryman,
Yeah, and Debbie, from what I've heard, Debbie was just like really excited to be in the movie too. Like, she was I guess it was back when she had MySpace herself. She was like promoting it. So,
yeah, really cool. Yeah, she's a really cool chick.
And
really cool.
So I guess you meet all these people at the conventions and stuff. I mean, do you hang out with them outside the conventions, or just at conventions?
No, really pretty much, we're all pretty busy. Pretty darn busy, yeah. It's like next to impossible. Michael Berryman I have a few times, but that's about it, And even then it was business, So,
oh, okay. So you're just talking, like, for lunch or something?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
Now, I mean, are you getting other projects or a lot of other projects coming to you because of Beg?
Yeah, I am. I've gotten some. Yeah, I've gotten some. And I say that hesitantly because I really don't know how many, because I'm not on MySpace very much, and that's how that's the only way you can really contact me. And there's stuff that I just kind of tune out because of the way they come across on the email. I just I'm not interested or something, But but and I think there's a lot of people, well, there's a lot less now, but didn't even know I was doing Beg, so, or even knew about it. So, I don't know.
Now it's coming across like everybody's, hearing about it, right? Like the buzz is getting about, and like Dread Central's mentioning it, and I think probably Fangoria's probably mentioned Beg too, and different sites. So I'm sure you're gonna get a lot more friend requests and a lot more stuff going on for it.
Yeah.
Are you a big fan of MySpace? Do you like it, or do you just kind of?
Oh, I love it. I love MySpace. Yeah, I actually really do love it. I just wish I had more time to get on it. And do what I have to do on it. It's really a cool thing. Really cool. And I'd be honest with you, if I didn't like it, or if I was just doing it for business, I'd tell you. But I'm not. I really do like it. I've gotten, well, like you. The way you came across, I was like, well, I'll call this cat up for sure. He's cool. I get the radio interview stuff I get all the time. But I don't take all of them on just because of the way they come across. And I don't really have.
I've talked to a couple of people that have like radio shows, and I just some of them just come off very abrasive and very. I don't know. I mean, I try not to come off as a fanboy. I try to come off as professional, but also I am a fan of most of the people that I, want to interview. So,
Yeah, as long as somebody comes across down to earth, I'm cool. I mean, if they come across like they think there's somebody that they're not, or uppity or whatever, see you later.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I guess you get a lot of requests from different things. So
I do.
Now, are you going to be doing any other like regular interviews, like press interviews, soon?
Oh yeah.
Or? Okay.
Oh yeah. Every time I go out to Boston, that happens.
Like
the horror
or something.
Yeah, the horror people come on out. They want to do interviews with me and stuff like that, which is really cool. Because then I get to pump Kevin and his wife, the people that are doing the movie with me, because they're brilliant. Yeah. He's a brilliant writer. So, that'll continue. So, and I'm going tomorrow morning to MTV with a veteran producer guy and my manager to. Him and his partner, the producer, came up with an idea for a reality show. So
awesome.
It's kind of secret, but it involves me and some 3 other people, and it's a pretty good idea. So he's pulling me in for MTV. He's already gone to some other ones, but he's now pulling me in to talk to these cats as well, and pitch it. So we'll see.
Awesome.
And Can you say who these people are, or would it give away the secret?
Well, no, I cannot. Just to be safe. I mean, I may be able to, but I'm not positive yet. Okay.
Right.
So, unless I'm positive, I'm not going to divulge because that's not cool.
Yeah.
But
right. Next time we interview you, you'll be able. We'll be able to talk about it.
I'll put it to you this way: they're heavy hitters like me. So.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's a pretty cool idea too. Really cool idea, as a matter of fact. So.
Now, I had seen that you told me that you were just at Tattoo Fest. How was that? In
Tampa? Yeah, that was one good time. Let me tell you, it was one good time. That was a really good time. We pulled that together. I got booked for it, but we pulled together a film crew out there, an independent film crew that we knew that we wanted to have them film me at the convention and stuff like that because I'm working on something else with my manager. But he also, this cat that with the film crew, he's filming a music video, and he asked me a favor of me if I would be in the music video. So I said, sure, I'll do that, and because I never done one. So I thought, hey, this would be fun, So they picked me up at the airport filming me. Starting from down the escalator, and I didn't know this, and some chick jumps into my arms when I get out on the sidewalk and starts kissing me. Turns out she's in the music video, and they had a hearse pick me up, and they filmed the whole thing, and we did it like 2 or 3 times. So the next time I wasn't surprised that she was jumping in my arms, but yeah, all the people at the airport were watching, and I had taken a 10 o'clock flight, p.m., red eye. Got there in Tampa at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't sleep on the plane, which I usually can't. I didn't, and did that. Took me over to the location, which is in a real ghetto. I mean, really bad ghetto part of this neighborhood and an abandoned house. Filmed the video. Went back to the hotel room, showered, and went right to the Tattoo Fest to do the convention. So starting from that escalator, it was 24 hours nonstop. I mean, there was when you do these things, if you're in the right crowd, I promise you're not going to sleep. So I had room. My room was filled with people. 3 nights in a row. Partying and stuff and jumping over the railing and going into the pool and and getting half naked in my room, and it gets to the point where I just by 3 or 4 o'clock I went to bed. I go to bed. I'm worn out. You know what I mean? And the party's still raging. So yeah, it was a good time. It was a really good time there. Tampa's a fun town.
Now, I mean, was that the first time that you were at Tattoo Fest, or is that like the first time they had Tattoo Fest or anything like that?
No, that was the first time I've been to Tattoo Fest in Tampa. I've done, I don't know, I've probably done 3 or 4 other tattoo festivals. It's a crossover, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's horror and what else do they do? They're just horror?
Yeah, tattoos and horror. I mean, Kane Hodder was there, Courtney Gaines, me, Jay LaRose, and Michael Berryman as the horror people. Nice. And, these tattoo places, these tattoo fests, they're trying to, because it's amazing. The tattoo stuff is a crossover, man. I mean, they're into horror. So it's a natural fit to bring horror guys in. So, like, consequently, I'm doing a tattoo La Palooza in what month is that? June, I think. I think it's in June, if I'm not mistaken. I'm doing that, and there's another one called Visionary, but it's a crossover. I mean, it's a natural fit. You know what I mean? So let me see what the dates are on this here. Hold on a second.
Okay.
When is this, Justin? In June, right? Yeah, or July. Yeah, I think it's the 7th through the 9th of July, called Tattoo 10th through the 12th, Tattoo Palooza in Miami, right? South Beach. It's in South Beach.
Nice.
Yeah. So then I got this other big one in August or something like that called Visionary Tattoo Stuff again. But it's a natural fit. I mean, they all, are into it. I mean, like in Tampa, this Tattoo Fest, as an example, there's a guy that came there, and he had on his back a whole Halloween scene of the house and a theater that had a billboard up that said Halloween and the Michael Myers mask and all over his whole, from his neck down. And he asked me to sign his back because Halloween and Michael Myers is his gig, number one gig. And so I signed his back, and he had it tattooed. And then there's two other girls that, had tattoos, and they wanted me to sign their thigh, and they had theirs tattooed. And this other guy had one on his ankle, and another girl had it on her elbow tattooed.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So it's a natural crossover. It's intermingled. It's really no separation kind of.
But do you think it's kind of? Do you think it's kind of weird for you to have like your signature, tattooed on somebody? I think it's the coolest thing in the world. Okay, I don't know. So some people might be weirded out by it, but
especially on a chick's thigh, I think it's great. Oh, definitely.
Right, Brandon? I mean, you'd probably agree, right?
Well, in my music days, I signed a number of girls' boobs, so
right,
it's a beautiful thing.
right.
They just never had it. As far as you know, they've never had it tattooed there.
No, unfortunately, that's the thing. Maybe one day. We'll see.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. I mean, it's a cool thing. They wanna, put your name in their skin forever. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, some people would be probably weirded out by it, but it's great that you.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know who. As far as an actor or actress goes, I mean, if they can, they just, we all love that stuff, we just love it.
Do you get recognized outside of the horror conventions at all?
No, which is great. I love that anonymity, especially like on the first day of like a convention. I can go out on the sidewalk and go have a smoke or whatever, and nobody knows who I am yet. It's great. Now, by Saturday night, Saturday day, maybe Sunday day, it's a whole different story now, I just get, inundated. But it's, what I get a lot is, and I've always gotten it, and when I was younger, they were right. They had saw me on TV, but I never divulged it. They'd go, oh, you look really familiar, who are you? And I'm like, I'm nobody. I'm just me, They go, no, I've seen you somewhere. I go, no, I don't think so. I'm not even from here. So I can walk away free, you know what I mean?
But I guess, like, back then you said you were, like, kind of ashamed that you did, like, Halloween, right? So you didn't
Not ashamed. Well, kind of ashamed, I guess, but more embarrassed than ashamed.
More embarrassed. And so now that it's big and everything, have you gone back and watched all the Halloween movies? And
nope.
You know a lot? No?
Nope.
So
I never saw any Halloweens past Halloween 2, anyways.
For real?
And yeah, for real. I never saw any. I saw maybe by accident because they were on TV, flipping through the channels, but I never watched. No, never watched them. They had no interest. I wasn't in them, bro.
So
what do I care?
So you have gone back to watch Halloween 1 and 2, though.
Yeah, but not very much, and mainly when I would do that was with my kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Show them who their daddy played and.
Yeah. Like my daughter, who is now going to be almost 8 in May, she's been watching Halloween since she was 4. Because she wanted to, not because I made her or anything. She wanted to. I'm like, are you sure, honey? Because I've been there. I already did it. I know what went down. I know everything about it. I don't need to revisit it. It's like I know what's going on, but her especially. She's so cute. She always wants to watch it.
Now, do you remember, like, I was going to ask you this earlier, but I totally forgot. when we were talking about John Carpenter or whatever, did he ask you, do you remember any kind of, thing he told you specifically as direction when you were being
Nope.
Nope.
Not really. I mean, we talked about a few things, but he never really gave me direction specifically. But we talked about certain things and ideas and his feelings about the character and all that, and how I felt and what did I think and so on and so forth. But that was about it.
Did you tell him what you really thought?
No. Once I got on the set, then I was totally committed. I mean, I'm not like that. Once I commit and I go do my thing, I'm all in. And with the greatest attitude you could have on purpose, and because I want to, because otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. But
right.
Once I was done, yeah, sure, I couldn't wait to get out of there. I was like, oof.
My money to run.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even like watching myself anyways, to tell you the truth. So when you're going back to watching Halloween and Chips or Waltons, I have a very, very tough time, on vague, watching my scenes, but I kind of have to because I'm involved in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you somebody who watches it, when you watch yourself, are you very critical of yourself, or is it more just strange watching yourself, period? Because me personally, if I watch anything, I notice everything I think I did wrong.
Yeah, and that's typical. Yeah. The only thing I could say about that, and not to be pompous either, but advice, is that if you prepare and you get into doing what you're doing, and if you see stuff that you don't like, well, it's usually you're going to be wrong about your assumption or what you're seeing, because you got to remember you're in character, and what's coming out is totally natural. It's in the moment. Hopefully, it's you're acting within the moment, so you don't know what's going to come out of you, and you don't know how you're going to be and all that. So no, I'm not really that critical of me. I mean, a little bit if I watch too much, because that's natural. If you watch it too many times, then you start you start doing it. But no, I'm not that critical of me, because if I was, my feeling is, and this is just mine, Brandon, it's not everybody's or anything, but if it's mine, then I'm kind of going against my art, because I know I prepared, and I know I did what I did in the moment, and I gave my fullest and whatever, and was as completely in that character as possible. So whatever comes out, that's it. Usually when I talk to people that are critical of themselves, is that they're kind of uncomfortable to see them do certain things that they don't normally do. Or they feel like, oh, I should have done this. But they're saying that when they're already out of character. So it's not fair. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, as far as advice goes, I'd say just remember, you're not watching you. You're watching your character, and just let it be. Protect your character and protect your art, and love it as much as you can.
Yeah, and that's a very good perspective too, especially what you just said about seeing things you wouldn't normally do, and that's exactly the way it should be looked at. Actually, because you shouldn't be doing the things. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing the things you're normally doing. Not at all. I mean, unless you're playing yourself in a biography. But
there you go. That's right. Or a live interview on film or something. Sure. Yeah. And even then, you'll pick something apart about what you did. And that's the only time you should. I mean, when with this reality show, we did interviews, one-on-one interviews, and I was watching myself, and there was only a couple times I went, oh, ooh, did I do that? Do I do that? But that's, hey, that's me in real life, and I don't really give a shit. I was like, yeah, that is me, so fuck it. I don't give a shit.
That's how I feel about my radio shows. I'll listen back at some points, and I'll be like, oh shit, did I really say that? Or
right.
And it sucks sometimes, but I'm a little bit more critical, because I've been doing this for over 2 years now, and it's kind of like, oh, I'll see an older, like I'm sure with you in movies, you might see an older movie that you did, and you're like, you know what, I'm so much better now than I've learned so much since then, you know, I wouldn't do the same things that I did back then that I do now. You know what I mean?
That could be true. That could be true. But, you know, unless you piss somebody off on an interview, or if you had this one question in mind for a week before you asked the question on the radio, and you even practiced how you were going to say it with what inflection and all that stuff, well then, yeah, and it didn't come across good, well then, yeah, shame on you. But if something comes out naturally, I'm all for that shit. You know, I mean, I'm just a natural believer that, you know, if you got the right intentions and you got a good heart, you know, and your heart's in the right place and all that, whatever comes out, comes out. You know, fuck it. And don't look back. I mean, it's hard to look back anyways because you're younger, you know, and you knew as much as you knew then. So it's hard for me as an actor to look back and go on trips, let's say, and go, oh, shit, I wasn't that good at all. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, I was. I mean, I'm an older guy now. I mean, what the fuck? That makes no sense, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm a big believer in, like, and I hate to interrupt you, but I just want to make this point. I'm a really big believer in, you know, once you find your art and you do your art, you know, you cannot ever stomp on it. And I don't care how tiny of a stomp it is. You don't ever do it. You keep that thing wrapped up in a blankie and keep it as warm and cuddly as possible and loved. You know what I mean? Because it's death. It's death when you start criticizing yourself.
Yeah.
That's a really good point right there. I was going to say, I guess, like, are you also a writer as well?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a writer. I wrote one thing, and I found that, you know, writing is like, that was the furthest thing from my mind that'd be like me picking up a paintbrush and start painting. There's just no fucking way I got that shit in me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, you know, I had this one idea, and what happened through the process of writing it, I was like, holy shit, you mean to tell me I got this shit in me too? Which means now I got to take kind of responsibility for it. On the flip side, it's kind of a drag because I got to take responsibility for it. I don't necessarily have to do anything, but if I don't, you know, that's kind of shitty too. But yeah, I had this one idea back in 2007 on the set of Beg, as a matter of fact, talking to PJ Souls about this idea, and we were laughing about it. And then I left and started thinking about it more and more. I thought, oh man, this would be a great little short horror movie for sure. And I started writing, and I couldn't, you know, I don't know how you guys feel because you both are writers, right?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, so I don't know how it is for you guys, but what started happening was, and I think, you know, Jonathan, you were saying, you know, 30 pages just started flowing out of like a river, right?
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I started something on Sunday, and I'm already 30 pages in, I think.
Right.
Brandon, you clocked about 25 pages on the last one. I'm thinking, yeah, about that. So, it's crazy.
That's what happened to me. All of a sudden, when I opened the door, the floodgates opened up, and all sorts of shit started coming out of me that I was writing down. And I had no idea I knew how to write like that. And I'm like, whoa, it's like it's somebody different than myself. It was coming out of me, you know.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I guess you're just gonna keep at it and keep plugging away and see how it goes?
Oh yeah. There's, you know, it's time-wise, it's tough, you know, and I gotta put myself in a certain place to start writing, and that's tough lately. But yeah, I want to, definitely. I mean, you know, I let people see it. The script's called Do You Got a Minute? And it's about this, you know, my age couple, and I had PJ in mind to play my wife, that gets telemarketing calls every night right when they're about to take, you know, they start to eat dinner. But they're not assholes to the telemarketers. They're really, really, really nice. So, and I just went from there. But yeah, I got stuff that wants to come out, and I just gotta find out what they are. But I gotta put myself in a quiet time, you know, and just sit there and just wait for it to start coming out. But I can feel it in me boiling, so I got to do something about it, you know.
Is that going to be like a feature or short?
It's written as a short, but it could definitely go into a feature for sure.
Okay. Really cool.
But we may not do that. Me and when I say we, Kevin McDonald, the director and producer of Bag, and his wife. I may keep it as a short because we have an idea. Spilt Milk is a short, and I've got my short, and he's got another short from somebody else, and we may do something collaborative where we're going to take it to maybe an HBO or Showtime or something like that to do almost like on the vein of a Twilight Zone type of thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like an anthology kind of thing show.
Yeah, little short stories that or that horror short stories that start off a certain way that I'm not going to say how they start out because that's kind of a secret, but and then week after week or it's a little half-hour stuff that happens. So
Brandon and I were talking about right, Brandon, we were talking about a TV. We were going to do a web series. Originally, it was going to be a web series called The Campfire, and it was going to be like Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was an old TV show that I used to watch. That was kind of like the Twilight Zone and stuff, except it's a bunch of kids telling, campfire stories,
Yeah.
and then you watch them, come to life or whatever. And I was thinking about doing like an adult version of that,
Right.
And
Right.
Some people were interested at one point, but I don't know, I just kind of lost interest in doing that. So,
Ours is on the same kind of a vein, same vein.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah.
Eventually I'd love to talk to Kevin about coming on the show too, when Beck starts really, when he wants to really come out and talk about it,
Okay.
Get him on the show and just have him tell his side of the stories,
that would be.
He's
I
got
think
plenty of them.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's got a lot. Yeah, and he'd be more than willing to come out, whenever you're ready. I mean, he's ready now because this is good. This is going to be, brought out in the summer or fall of this year. So, he's ready when you're ready. By the way, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll definitely send him a message and see when he wants to do that. But yeah, no, I mean, I really. Like I told you before, I like the trailer to Beck, and I'm really excited to see how it's going. And I had no idea, because I had a feeling it was a slasher, but like an homage to the slasher genre. But I guess as it was, it kept evolving, right? Like as you said, it kept changing a little bit, and it became, I guess, more, epic, and scale.
That's right. And here's the deal where and it's not just because of the promotion of the movie, but it kind of is. I'll be honest with you. It is, but in a good way. I mean, there's a lot of fans out there that know about this, and in magazines also and all that, but in the horror industry that know this movie's going on. And he does have a different perspective that would be not necessarily better than mine maybe, but probably, of how he can explain things that only he knows that I don't know. I just kind of maybe know what I'm talking about as far as certain things, but he knows, about how the whole script evolved and all that stuff. But I know the fans would love to hear from a director and a writer's point of view because, as you know, there's 1 million, writers out there. Independent horror writers out there on MySpace that would benefit hearing how and what he did. So it's not necessarily just to promote Beg and him, but again, it always has to go back to helping others, right?
Right.
Help giving it back and helping others. And like with you, it's like, I don't have to do this, but I mean, you're cool and it's helping you and it's helping me and it's, hey, why don't we just do that? Same thing if he got on from a director's and a writer's perspective and a producer on a very, very low budget of how he did this. I think it would help greatly these independent guys that are getting frustrated or maybe losing hope and he goes, oh, no, man, no. Here's what you got to do, and here's what you can do, and all. I think it would help having him on.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely try to get him on here, and I mean, we'll try to get as many of the people as we can. Like that's pretty much what the Independent Corner is all about. It's about giving back to everybody. I think I had said it best when I was talking to Lloyd Kaufman's daughter was on the show once, Charlotte Kaufman, and Lloyd. You know Lloyd Kaufman, I'm sure. You've met him.
Yes, I do.
So he was saying that, she asked me, what the show is, and I just said it was an independent, it's a way to give people a voice and be heard. And she was like, that's very cool. My father would love this, And I was like, I thought that was awesome. I really appreciated that too.
And it is. I mean, it's an honor for me to be on your show. I mean, believe me. I mean, it might sound funny or it might sound, like I'm being completely honest with you, though. Once I choose, then I know I'm making the right choice, and it's an honor. I mean, shit. I don't have to.
You didn't have to come out here and talk for an hour.
And nobody has to be even interested in me, bro. You know what I mean? They don't have to be. So I'm honored. For the interest.
Well, thank you so much. We went over time, so people are going to be able to hear this in the archives, but they can't hear it right now live. But thank you so much for coming on. I'm sure you've been a really, really cool, insightful person.
I appreciate you too.
Yeah,
you too.
And Brandon, what do you think?
I was entertained. I actually liked how it went. I liked hearing, I like to hear everybody's perspective on everything because I don't think there's like one perfect way. And
that's right.
So it's always good to hear other people's experiences and everything else. Like we were just talking about, just helping everybody out because it's something that's hard enough to do, whether you're an actor or a writer or director or whatever, and it is easy to get frustrated. And so many, some of our greatest talents probably no one ever saw because they gave up. And so it's good.
They lost faith. They lost faith. They lost hope. All that. That's exactly right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that way, Brandon. It just doesn't. All you got to do is lend a helping hand if you believe in somebody, and that's what I did with Kevin. And it's like, he was the thing about him. Every time I mentioned a new name in his movie, he just was the same exact way, just totally humbled, but not intimidated. You know what I mean? He'd tell me, Tony Todd's coming out. Oh my God, I'm scared shitless. Blah, blah, blah. But he, when Tony Todd comes out, he was fine. He was totally cool. Shouldn't have break inside, but he was totally okay on the outside. But it's that kind of stuff that it's such a fun thing for me to do because it's like, God, how great is that, man? I mean, I remember how this all worked way back when for me, and now I'm watching him go through it. Fun. So that's my whole thing, and that's why I come on here because I. And talk about this stuff because I think what I've learned in the last 3.5 years of the independent horror and horror conventions and all that, it's a real small, tight-knit family, but it seems like everybody's floundering and doesn't have a direction and nobody's helping anybody and, or not helping anybody, but pretty much. And why not try to do something,
And that's the kind of the sucky thing about it is everybody's out trying to just look out for numero uno, so they're not actually going out and helping other people at all. And you never know who you're going to want to help out, because the person who may be a douchebag to is the person who may become, more famous than you are, And,
Right.
I mean, you got to watch out who you're, So
got to be very careful.
That's right. It's not even so much someone becoming famous. I think, like I've for a couple of films, I've recommended special effects artists I know or composers I know, and I didn't get anything for that, but I felt good that I was able to get people that I enjoy being around a job, and so there's also something. It just makes you feel good to actually unite people. And that's something I always try to do, and I don't understand why some people don't.
I've hooked up a couple actresses that I've known from my radio show and stuff and other things, and in a roundabout way, I've hooked them up with gigs, because I'll mention them in passing to somebody else. Somebody else will tell somebody, and then all of a sudden they'll contact those people and say, hey, would you like to be in my movie? I heard about you through so-and-so, and then all of a sudden I'll get an email from somebody going, hey, I heard that you said to this person that I was good in this and blah, 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 and thank you so much. And I'm like, really? Like I was like, that's great. It's great that, but I didn't mean to, I didn't think about, like, I wasn't there trying to like push on them, on these people. It just, it happened that way, and it's great.
Right.
I love helping people out. That's kind of what, this is what this show's about, and this is what I'm about. I'm about, being cool to people and helping people out.
It's the best way to be. And Jonathan, you have my phone number. I want you to pass it on off air to Brandon. And I mean that, and stay. If you need anything or whatever, just stay in touch with me, and don't be shy to call me. Either one of you guys. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Because there's creative minds got to stick together.
Definitely, and good luck. Finishing up Beg, and also good luck. Getting your other project off the ground, your short film. And your reality show and everything you're doing. You're a busy guy.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other shit too. That's just unreal. And I'll let Kevin. I'll let Kevin know that you're gonna contact him so he knows. Okay.
Definitely. I'll probably contact him tomorrow to let him know. So.
I'll give him the heads up so he knows what's going on, so he doesn't know it's bogus or whatever.
He doesn't go, oh my God.
Yeah, he's so humble. He probably think it's a prank or something. He'd
probably be too scared to check things and check into things because he just doesn't know what's real and what's not, And I totally understand because, I wasn't sure. No offense, but I wasn't sure if you're even though you said this is the real Tony Moran on MySpace. I didn't know if it was somebody else who was running it, and sometimes I have to go through managers and agents and stuff to get to people. Right. So.
No, I totally understand. Yep.
So I wasn't sure, and I thought, well, I'll just do it. What the heck? And if it was to your, somebody else, and they say, hey, can you direct this to to his manager? I'd be like, okay, no problem. As long as people give me emails, I work my magic. Try to get people out here, and that's how I got Adam Green. His manager loved me. Apparently, loved the email I sent him. That's all it took was that.
Yes, the way you came across, Jonathan, for sure. That's right. That's right.
That's all that matters,
Yep.
So thank you so much, and I guess we'll try to get you back on the show too. Close to when Beg's out and stuff like that.
Right.
If you want to come back on.
Love to. Love to.
All right,
Brandon, it was great meeting you. Great meeting you, Brandon. Get my number from Jonathan.
All right, definitely. And I'll see you in a few days.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh, I can give it to you then if you need to. Right. That also. Yeah. Right. Either way. I forgot about that. All right. Cool. Hey guys, have a great night, and I so appreciate you having me on the show, man. It's been a great time for me.
It's been a great time for both of us too. So,
okay.
Thank you.
Well, you talk to you. Bye.
Okay.
All right. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was great.
I almost didn't know when to interject because he made a lot of very good points.
I felt really bad. Like I was gonna say something, and then he felt bad for interrupting me. But really, I wanted him to. I was like, go ahead, So
yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna keep posting this one a few times once it's in the archive because I think it's one of the better ones that could benefit some people. Especially what we started talking about at the end about people, maybe losing hope and everything,
and also about just the acting, experiences and stuff like that. It kind of gives more actors a insider's look into everything,
Yeah, definitely.
So So I guess I'll talk to you soon, and thanks, Brandon, for coming back on, and we'll try to keep making this a regular co-hosting thing if you want.
All right, yeah. All pending schedule, but right now...
Yeah, pending schedules, since you're pretty busy.
I don't know, 'cause you told me to mention it. I also, for the people listening after the download, I also now co-host HorrorNews.net's podcast, which is at 11:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Pacific on Sundays. With Day and Cenobite Dave, so everyone should check that out too. But
everybody should definitely check out also horrornews.net. Period. you know?
Yeah, they're really. It's in this whole scheme of all the horror sites. I believe they're newer, but they're really coming up the ladder pretty quick, and they got a lot of good people writing for them. So, good things. And I had been thinking about hosting shows more for a while after doing like the first spot I had as a guest on yours, and then on this one, and then the spots on HMF, and you know what? Even if I am busy and if I'm tired and I'm working on something and the show's going to be on in 20 minutes, I think I should still do them. Hell, keep things out there and people talking.
And three board guys. Don't forget about that.
Yes, when we do another one.
Wonder if we'll ever do that again. It might have to be changed. The title is two board guys.
Two board guys and a chick.
If Day comes on, or Brooke, or anybody else we're friends with, that wants to come on and say anything that, remotely interesting, I guess. I don't know. Three board guys is just really supposed to be just that. Like Independent Corner is like, about the entertainment industry, but really Three board guys is anything,
Three board guys, Wayne's World.
It's Wayne's World. Brandon and John's world. Baron's world.
Coast to coast, literally now.
Yeah, exactly. People can check it out. So, well, thanks, Brandon, for coming on again, and we will, the sooner that we get off, the sooner it can archive, so we can, let people know about this and get it out. And, I don't know how many people were listening. I haven't yet to check that out, but everybody listening, thank you so much, and hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed talking to Tony. I think you were surprised because I told you that he was interested, and you're like, really?
Well, yeah, and I was glad that he remembered me after meeting him a couple of times, maybe 2 years and a year ago. So that's good when people actually, pay attention to everybody and keep up. And I think Chris and I had given him a copy of Methodic. So,
okay. So that was probably what he was remembering.
Yeah. So it's good when people are cool like that, because some people aren't.
Well, thanks, and we'll try to, I guess, do it. I'm not sure what we're doing next week. It's right now. It's really like day by day.
Yeah. Next week could be interesting because that's when I'm showing up at Fango. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see if somebody's around. So maybe your Fango idea is a good idea after all.
I don't know. We'll see if Thursday night. Yeah, you'll be showing up there, and then you can walk around and pass it off to somebody or something.
Last year I was in New York City when LA Fango was going on, and I was talking to Brooke Lewis on the phone, and she was drunk, and she passed her phone to Will from Horror Yearbook, and we were just like, "Hey man, how's it going? Where'd Brooke go?" And we talked for like 30 minutes, and she never came back from her phone. So if there is a show next week from Fango, hopefully I am not drunk and I remember my phone.
Yeah, definitely. I will. I'll find out. I'll call you up before then.
No, I won't be, because unlike the Brandon of the past, I'm a little bit more chill now.
Okay.
Well,
so we'll see though. Because you might go back into your old habits.
Well, plus it's I'm celebrating my birthday during that.
Oh, see, now I don't know at all what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It'll be great. When is your birthday, by the way?
It's actually April 26th.
April 26th. Okay. So, all right. I thought it was like closer than that, but.
I'm a Taurus on the cusp of Aries. Ooh. Well, if Farron was on, he'd make a big deal about the Aries thing, but he's not.
All right. Well, let's get this archived, and then everybody can come listen, and we can start linking it to different stuff and getting people out there.
Definitely.
But all right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you soon, John Moody.
All right, and everybody have a good night.
All right. Good night, everyone.